There's something called the ripple effect. This came about from a study. Nicholas Christakis, he's a Yale University professor. And do you remember yesterday I was talking about how when I was doing my study, I really had no idea that it was going to lead to habits, right? So you start something and you're going this way, you think you're going this way, and then you wind up over here. Well, that's what happened with me. I realized, oh my gosh, most of my 340 data sets are habits. Well, Nicholas Christakis kind of experienced the same thing. He was doing this study on obesity. He wanted to find out why there is this epidemic of obesity. And what he stumbled into was something unexpected. He found that the people who were obese, they had a 25% likelihood of becoming obese if they had a friend or a family member that was obese. So what he realized is, oh my gosh, obesity is a habit. And it's a habit that in large part is by association. And so he said there's this infection. Habits are a virus. They spread throughout your social networks. He went searching for obesity, and he actually did a study on habits. And it was a breakthrough study. It's referenced by so many people in the scientific and the neurological community, people that are involved in brain plasticity and things like that. They said, wow, your inner circle are actually contributing to your habits. And that's why yesterday when I talked about how important it was to forge gold-plated relationships or rich relationships, the byproduct of that is being infected by these incredibly great habits that these rich relationships have. You just become infected. And you start doing things you didn't do before, and a lot of it has to do with peer pressure, a lot of it has to do with just a subconscious or unconscious programming, just being in the vicinity of somebody who has these habits. Megan Oden and Ken Chu, they did another study, and they were doing a study on willpower, or so they thought. They found that while doing their study and interviewing all of the subjects for their study, they found that when they were trying to figure out how long it takes before you experience decision fatigue or the loss of willpower, energy. And they found that. They said it was about 2 hours. So that's why when you wake up in the morning, it's the best time, that power hour is the best time to do anything you don't want to do, or you're not really interested in doing, but you know it's good for you, like exercise or reading to learn. That power hour is important because you have that 2-hour window of willpower energy before decision fatigue sets in. So they found that. That was good. And that was important to their willpower study. But they had an unexpected consequence. They also found that when they were asking people to add a habit, and they just chose exercise as a habit to see how long the willpower energy would last over a period of 6 months. After 6 months, they went back to the same group and they asked them about their new habit, and the group, almost 60% of the groups, they found that they had additional other good habits. So I've talked about on TV and in the radio and in my articles and with the media, I talked about these Keystone habits. The rich habits, the 10 rich habits are Keystone habits. They're a unique type of habit. They're a habit that actually gives birth to other habits. Well, this is what Megan Oden and Ken Chu found, that there's a ripple effect with habits. When you forge one good habit, it can give birth to 2 or 3 other good habits. And so that's why it's so important to figure out a way, a shortcut, which we'll talk about in forging good habits, because it's going to have a domino effect or a ripple effect on your life. It's going to actually change your life. And the beautiful thing about it is these additional new habits are effortless. They're